Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have John Deere's new behemoth of a tractor that cost $1.2 million, which is quite a pretty penny to say the least. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Caleb at thedrive.com. And here you can see that ginormous tractor that's, well, as large as a Hummer. I'm kidding, it's even bigger than those monstrosities. Now, they say, quote, the largest, most powerful John Deere tractor ever is this 830 horsepower, $1.2 million behemoth. Unless you have thousands of acres to tend to, you probably don't need the John Deere 9RX 830, which, I don't know, it sounds pretty technical, but couldn't they thought of a cooler name? So many companies fall into the BMW nomenclature. Well, Cadillac does this too, same with Mercedes. I don't know, kind of miss the era of the 70s and 80s where they just had crazy names for everything, but I partially digress. This is, yeah, you have a truck. Now, granted, the truck, that they should have done this for promotion. They have a truck in the background, so again, it's not to scale. They should have like an F-150 truck next to it because, let's be honest, if you're a farmer, I mean, this is America. We're not going to use, when we measure things in America, we don't use things like meters and millimeters, except bullets. But what we do, we take measurements in like F-150. That'd be a good scale to compare it to. Unfortunately, the John Deere marketing department failed yet again. They didn't put that right next to that ginormous tractor. And yeah, it almost looks like one of those Caterpillar trucks that's used for moving ore in the mining industry. Is that scale, which, fun fact of the day, largest truck on the planet. It's the Caterpillar. I forget the name of it, but it's the one that is used for mining where they move all the rocks. Now, they say, quote, John Deere has made plenty of big machinery in the past, but this one is green and yellow's largest ever. It's called the 9RX 830, thanks to its, here we go, 18-liter turbo diesel engine, the most powerful Deere yet. If you have thousands of acres that need to be taken care of and fast, this could be for you. Which, yeah, you'll see the engine in a second here, but 18 liters. Oh, that's pure testosterone right there. I mean, that is about 18 of my Honda Civic Si engines in terms of displacement. Now, they say, quote, John Deere's 9 Series tractors are not brand new, and of course, we don't talk about farm vehicles too often here, but a video of the 9RX in action caught our attention. We thought car fans would appreciate the majesty of this monster. There are 3 high horsepower 9RX models, the 710, 770, and Midas 830. Deere proclaims these can seed with twice the cartload in the hills and go 1 mile per hour faster while doing it compared to the previous 9RX models, which is kind of hilarious to think of that being a big deal. But again, in the aggregate, just like semi-trucks, those make, I mean, again, with time, distance, energy, everything adds up dramatically in the aggregate. But just like, yeah, on a small scale, that's, nothing in comparison. Now, they say, quote, you don't have to know a lot about tractors to understand 830 horsepower in, here we go, 3,123 foot-pound of torque is a lot of power. All that comes from a JDM, no, I'm just kidding. A JD18s, I mean, never forget Hector's running spoon engines. And if you don't get that reference, I'll die inside. But nevertheless, they say, quote, it's a JD18 6-cylinder diesel engine, which runs a series turbocharger setup and weighs 4,672 pounds on its own. Talk about a big transmission. 21-speed transmission doesn't figure into that weight, by the way. Importantly, the 9RX 830 operates without diesel exhaust fluid. Nice, you don't have to buy that crap. Which means farmers might need DEF for their Cummins or Power Stroke setup, but not this tractor. Which, well, hopefully Trump gets rid of the bureaucracy that is the EPA and job destroyer that's the EPA, so you don't have to have those things ruining the efficiency and destroying your engine in the future for all platforms. And here you can see that ginormous engine, just as a behemoth to say the least. Now, they say that the 9RX 830 spec list is longer than the CVS receipt, which that might be a dated concept. That company is barely in business. So rest assured, it doesn't stop the engine. The hydraulic system can run 168 gallons per minute when fitted with the optional triple pump, more than enough for most attachments, even those appropriately sized for such a massive machine. And because it's so stout, it's rated to handle a max ballast weight of, geez Louise, 84,000 pounds, or one Rosie O'Donnell. So a metric of measurement there. And they say, I could ramble on longer about the rig's cab and how spacious it is, or how John Deere's labels it as autonomous ready, but I won't. To be fair, without writing it, I can't tell you much how to operate it. Let's see here. Let's scroll down. We can see it in action for a second here. Look at that thing. The tank. Holy smokes.
Hi, Big Tractor Power fans. This video.
That is huge. Here you can see more still pictures of it. Now, the downside is it's John Deere, so it's going to be a pain in the ass to repair, aka you can't, because John Deere hates right to repair. They famously sue farmers all the time and oppose all legislation that wants farmers to be able to repair their own things on their own, which is so stupid, which means you're going to have to pay John Deere a pretty penny to fly out. They're going to have to fly out a technical expert or mechanic with a myriad of spare parts, or you have to drag that monstrosity to the John Deere dealership and have them fix it under the blessings of John Deere Corporate, which again is a franchisee's model, and they have all their special proprietary tools there. Imagine towing this monstrosity. Yeah, that's going to be a pain. And other companies like Case New Holland, or shortly known as Case in the agriculture industry, have the same practice. They'll fly out a technical resource, you'll pay them a lot of money to fix it, because you can't. So to me, this is a really cool Marvel engineering. It's really neat. It's going to be revolutionary for all these big farmers. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be mainly corporations, as small farmers are forced out of the industry. Yeah, some a-hole like Bill Gates, his farms will get these so they can make some of that organic, the fake burgers crap they're trying to force us to eat. Because again, this is $1.2 million. Now, granted, every dealership under the sun is going to finance these, and they'll make more money that way, obviously, as an extra revenue model for them. But even with that, the scale of farm you would have to make this business sense, I mean, it's going to have to be basically the largest of the businesses will have these. Which, again, they will benefit. They'll get a good ROI out of this machine after a while. Now, a lot of comments down here are mentioning the life cycle machines. A lot of people say farmers will keep them for, 10, 20, 30 years plus. Now, another issue with that is, well, the newer equipment isn't lasting as long, just like cars these days. A lot of people say cars are more reliable than ever. Technically speaking, they're not, because the number of recalls, some of the components are more reliable, but they're also less easy to repair as an individual. A lot of them have lockout features from the factory. Even my Honda Civic Si, which I love her, my Gen 10 green coupe, I love that car. However, I actually can't change the rear brake calipers rear brake pads without putting it in service mode, which you can only do if you have that fancy $2,000 snap-on computer, or go to the Honda dealership, which will put it in service mode, which will retract the pain-in-the-ass electric e-brake, rudimentary speaking, so it gives you the space to change out the brake pads. The only way to do that yourself is to manually unbolt these stupid e-brake or parking brake motors. You have to unbolt those things, manually finagle with them, and bolt them back on when you're done, which you can do, but it's a pain in the rear. And there's zero reason that should exist. So even Honda does it, and I love Honda. John Deere is the worst of the worst in terms of right to repair or lack thereof. So it's another. I think it's also the sign that the industry is shifting for farming. A lot of big businesses and large scale farmers are taking over the mom and pop shops as they're being forced out. And again, this will be beneficial for the big guys, and in theory, it'll be better for the consumer because it'll decrease the cost of goods sold, because it'll be more efficient than the previous things that they were doing for the actual farming processes. So again, there's some upsides to the situation, but again, I really wish it was a company that believed in right to repair. Very few companies do. I mean, John Deere isn't too unique in that regard, but it is a pretty cool, piece of marvel of engineering, ginormous, the most expensive ever. And again, you look at the evolution of John Deere, it's impressive where they've come from. But let me know. I mean, come from the Midwest, kind of default, some farmers growing up. And I mean, all the families I know, and, mostly in Iowa, I mean, none of them are going to be able to afford this. I mean, even if you lease this, I mean, geez Louise, with a 7% interest rate these days, that's going to be painful to say the least. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.